talk about our second journey on a psychedelic mushroom trip.
That was one of my favorite fucking journeys, dude. Like,
Okay.
that was fucking an amazing night. And I remember it was an anxious, I was at Universal Studios all day and I couldn't fucking wait to come home and fucking shrooms. And it was like, it was perfect. I had a Friday night off and all weekend to recover. So it was like, it's on, dude. It's fucking on. So I remember, finally getting here. And it was already like late, like 12. And we had a whole fucking pile of fucking shrooms. And it had to be like around 10 grams. 10 grams, dude. It was a lot. So we were both giving our heroic dose.
Dinner plate. Just filled with mushrooms, and we were trying to
had our little,
sort them out.
Yeah, like, comparable piles, and we got them down, and I remember that trip. It was it didn't take that long to actually really feel it. And
yeah, it came on fast.
It came on fast.
And it came on hard because I remember saying, "Oh boy, did we get what we were asking for?"
Yeah, and we were already geared. We already had our sweatpants on, and we already had our mushroom attire and my robe,
blankets and shit, blindfolds and all that.
We were prepared, yeah. So we had went outside, smoked a cigarette, and checked out the stars, and noticed their placement and things we wouldn't be aware of. So the next time we went outside, the stars would be differently aligned, and be like, "Oh shit, dude, we noticed it." So I remember coming back inside and already seeing walls breathe, and I was already tripping. So I had asked you. I was like, "Dude, can we jump into some closed-eye visuals?" And you're like, "Yeah." So we turned off the lights, and everyone knew it was lights out. Nobody was here. It was quiet. And I remember just closing my eyes, and you had some music playing on your phone, which totally set the mood of the trip. Yeah, it was like set the course of like a beautiful journey. Because as soon as
I think that's when we discovered. Oh no, it was a different one. It was a different time.
But this one was more like the music was just some like weird techno
trance music,
something. Yeah, like just
house,
high beat and happiness, And I remember just like being in this fantasy land, kind of like, I don't know, I would say like a knight in king's realm, like just something fantasy realm, like, not something that I would go outside and like, I wouldn't see no king or no queen, but I was like kind of like drifting through, and it was like this different realm, and it's all in my head, and I'm like, but still experiencing this different like realm per se, and like the king and the queen that I had seen, who obviously didn't even know I was there. I was envisioning their world as like from my perspective, but I had this knowledge that they didn't know I was there. I was just watching, and like it was weird. It like people weren't solid; they were flat like paper, and they didn't have eyes like normal beings like you and I. It was like, cut out eyes, and they would go, any which direction, like a cartoon almost, but it was so vivid and so real to be in that realm and to witness it, and knowing it was, an effect of the mushrooms. I was like, whoa, like this is what mushrooms is all about. And I remember sitting next to you and wondering what you were thinking about, but when my thoughts had changed and altered from that, wondering what you were thinking about, the realm had changed into more like just flashing lights, kind of like a red beam and a blue beam crossing, and making like a light tube that would constantly you could travel through, and it was like just a flowing motion, and all of the spectrum colors came out, and it was like fucking amazing. It kind of reminded me of Hyperspeed, but more 3D and more vivid and real, and different colors than just one or two. But it was like eye-opening to me, like, wow. Like, because we had shroomed before, and I had never had an experience like this.
Right.
Like, I had never believed that this could happen. Like, I heard, like,
see things with your eyes closed.
I'd rather see those than real hallucinations outside. That was
inner space.
Inner space, but yeah, that was really, like, moving to me. Like, that really got me thinking, like, wow, there's something to this. There's something to this. More than I was led to believe. There was a little bit more, and that just made me want to explore deeper. And what was this? Why was I saying this? What was the mushroom trying to tell me? And things of that nature. And I seeing all this, and until I heard you ask me, Matt, Matt, you alright? And I was like, dude, I'm good. And I remember after that we took a little break, and that was a good part of my first part of that journey, and that was really remarkable for me. And I know there was another part of that journey later that night that was really good, but for that part was fucking fantastic. Like that was like my real first mushroom. Like I would
experience.
Yeah,
like,
I would
actually having a psychedelic,
Right.
freaking out of this world, trying to can't make sense of what you're seeing, kind of
seeing,
experience.
yeah, because I had done it in a younger age, but not knowing what the fuck was going on, but still gotten some sense of like, okay, but I have no idea. I had no idea. You know, I was younger, and my mind had no idea what the fuck was happening, and it ended up being like kind of like a bad trip. And then that was like the last time I did shrooms, and that was had to be over 5 to 6 years ago, and before.
You didn't know what you were experiencing.
No, not at all. To a younger person, that was a fucking trip. Just doing them to do them.
Right.
So I asked you, what do you remember from, or what do you take from, firstly, of that?
Okay, so you said you remembered me saying like, Matt, are you okay? Matt, are you alright? I was asking you that because I was going through my own ego obliterating experience, like where I was tripping. It came on quick and it came on hard, and I wasn't ready for what was going to take place because I was going light speed.
Do you think it was the amount that we did that kind of got us there that fast?
Yeah, like there was like you couldn't once it came on, and my eyes were closed, and the roller coaster started. It wasn't even a roller coaster. It was like I closed my eyes in hyperspace right away. Like, oh shit!
Yeah,
I
know
was
the
fucking
feeling.
going fucking, and as I was doing that, I disintegrated in my visual, in my closed eye visual. I disintegrated into like nothingness, and was like tripping like on like. I had no body, I had no arms, and I think I was going through, oh my god, that's all I was doing, like, because I couldn't keep it together.
Were you in a state of awe?
I was like, I was kind of panicking because I didn't even have a mouth to say, oh my god.
But you still said it though.
And I was like, my arms were like, I didn't know if I had arms or anything because I felt like I disintegrated.
Right.
So the only thing that can come out was, Matt, are you okay? And the moment I could say that, I knew I had a mouth to talk.
Right.
That was when I really was the first thing. And then after you said that, I was like, oh my god, because I was going through like some ego loss experiences, and that's when I had like the visual of an entity that had like a demonic kind of grid. It looked like a grid, and I'd want to take away from your trip, but like the Zerg look.
No, yeah.
The Zerg look, but in a grid form, and it was blue, and I was tripping on that, and it scared the shit out of me. And then that's when I was like, Matt, are you okay? And then it was like we took a break, and then we came out, and we went outside. I was smoking at that time because I used to smoke cigarettes, so I was outside smoking with you, like, dude, I freaking seen an entity. And it scared the shit out of me. And it was like only like an hour and a half into our trip, so I was like, dude, we still have like
all fucking night.
Yeah.
It's only like maybe 1 o'clock, 1:30.
Yeah, I was like, dude, we still have fucking 3 at least hours of this like intense. Like, that's what I was thinking in my mind. And I think I even said that we still have a long time to go. So we were like, let's go back in. We were like, yeah, let's go back in.
And that going back in is what.
And it took nerve to go back in because after seeing an entity,
because we could have just fucked around for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
We could have just watched.
And after seeing an entity, I was scared. But I was like, all right, I'm gonna be bold and I'm gonna go in there.
And this goes in like music does, and music or not even music per se, but sounds definitely affect your trip. Because when we came back in,
this was the profound part.
This is the very profound part because this is like
we sat down and like I put on a blindfold. And you pulled your hoodie over your eyes, and we put on the Om. And that was
ominous,
yeah,
very ominous.
It was like the Tibetan Om monk
chant.
Om. It was deep. It just sounded.
weird electronic or
sounds and
yeah.
metronomes and music just
waning and
yeah, and it was
Yeah.
making visuals with our eyes closed.
yeah.
Anyways, and that's when I was able to have the VR virtual reality experience because I had the blindfold on and I was able to look around in a 360 degree and
Spectrum,
the
yeah.
spectrum and see that I was somewhere.
Somewhere else. Well, within your
And then
own head,
that's when I was like, Matthew, with your eyes closed, without opening your eyes, can you see where you're at? And you answered me. What did you tell me?
I was like, dude, I'm like in some kind of like temple, and it was like,
I was like, dude, I'm in that temple too
And-
because I was in a little dome.
yeah,
It
don't-
felt like a little dome temple.
and I had to ask just because just the feeling. I was like, what color is it in there? Because I had seen well,
Yeah.
go ahead and say it. What color was it?
I was saying that it was like a candlelit orange hue, like an orange,
Orangey brown, yeah.
hue, like a brown.
Like inside of a cave, if you had
Yeah.
flame lit in the cave, but there was no flame.
There was no fire.
It was just light.
It was just light, and
And-
it felt like we were in a little dome temple.
And we were already sitting in our yoga positions or meditation poses, and we were like, not just naturally hearing that music. I just
Well, we were listening to that music for maybe like a good like 20 minutes in silence, maybe, but 20 minutes of psychedelic silence.
was it could feel like a fucking eternity.
Eternity.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
it did. It did feel
It
like a fucking
did.
eternity.
In
You-
silence, and that's when we started. That's when we both ended up in that same kind of psychedelic state of being in the temple.
Trip out on this though. Even though we were both in the same temple, if I did my 3D spectrum and looked around, I was the only one in there.
Same way. I couldn't see windows or candles, but it would seem like it was
The
a dome
dome, like just
temple.
wow, I was in there, like, and how can you explain that? How the hell were we both affected the same music?
I remember that we were both like
Pro-
couldn't wrap our heads around it. We were like, dude, how do you wrap your head around that?
That's like,
And it sounds crazy, like to talk to other people and tell other people like that. Like we went into a psychedelic state and both ended up in the same place.
alone, but sitting next to each other. If that makes any sense to you, you know what I mean. Like we were in our temple alone in our head, and then physically we were sitting right next to each
That
other.
really made me think that like meditation is it like it really got me interested in meditation and then like the influence that that trip had on me after.
Definitely.
Where I got into like
Because
meditation and like learning about Buddha and Hinduism and
Right. And I remember
like the whole Duncan Trussell, Neem Crowley, Baba and Ram Dass and all that kind of stuff.
and to me, mushrooms didn't become it wasn't recreational no more after that. It wasn't.
Nah, it became like it was a spiritual experience.
It was a
like,
very spiritual experience. Mushrooms, but no longer was known as that one hallucinogenic drug that everyone labels it as. It became, to me, my guide through the spiritual realm, my guide through fucking spiritual experience, and it was like, I can't even give you I can't even explain my experience through mushrooms. It was a fucking beautiful thing.
It was indeed, and I was glad to share it with you.
Yeah.